It's midnight. You told yourself you'd put the phone down 10 minutes ago. Instead, you're still scrolling, thumb moving on its own, feeding you one more headline, one more disaster, one more thing to worry about. You don't even feel entertained anymore. You just feel unable to stop. But the real answer is far stranger. Your thumb isn't the problem. Your ancestors' information-gathering instincts are. For most of human history, information about danger was survival currency. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has written extensively about how early humans lived in small, tightly connected groups where knowing what everyone else knew wasn't optional. Who got sick? Who saw a predator near the water? Which neighboring group might be hostile this season? Missing that information could cost you your life or your children's lives. So evolution built you to crave updates. Constantly. Compulsively. Scrolling didn't create that craving. It just found the oldest button in your brain and started pressing it every few seconds. Think about the last time you opened your phone just to check. You weren't bored. You were doing something your ancestors did every single day around a fire, just without the fire, or the tribe, or any actual usefulness to what you're learning. So why does bad news specifically feel so hard to look away from? Psychologist Roy Baumeister spent years studying something he called the negativity bias, and his findings are almost uncomfortably clean. Bad events register in the brain faster, stronger, and longer than good ones. A single piece of criticism outweighs several compliments. One threatening headline outweighs a dozen calming ones. Baumeister's research suggests this isn't a flaw in how you process the world. It's a feature that kept your ancestors alive. Imagine two early humans. One notices every flower and sunset. The other notices every rustle in the grass, every unfamiliar face, every sign that something might be wrong. Which one is more likely to survive long enough to have children? The anxious one. Every time. You are, quite literally, descended from the worriers. The humans who scanned for threats obsessively passed on their genes. The relaxed optimists sometimes didn't get the chance. So your brain doesn't weigh good news and bad news equally, because equally was never the goal. Survival was the goal, and survival meant taking bad news extremely seriously. But here's where it gets stranger. Because your ancestors' threat detection system had a built-in limit your phone doesn't have. A hunter-gatherer's bad news came from a radius of maybe a few dozen people. A death in a nearby village. A drought 2 valleys over. Alarming, certainly, but bounded. Finite. Eventually you ran out of nearby threats to process, and your nervous system got a chance to reset. Your phone has no radius. Neuroscientist Molly Crockett has studied how outrage and moral emotions spread through digital networks, and her research points to something your ancestors never had to contend with. A single phone can deliver you catastrophic news from every corner of the planet, every hour, with no natural stopping point. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a crisis 3 miles away and a crisis 3,000 miles away. It just knows something bad happened, somewhere, again, and it wants you to pay attention. So it keeps you scrolling, looking for the resolution that never comes, because there's always another headline right underneath the last one. This is where dopamine gets misunderstood. Most people assume doomscrolling works because bad news feels good somehow. It doesn't. Neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky's research on dopamine reveals that the chemical isn't really about pleasure at all. It's about anticipation. Dopamine spikes hardest in the moment right before you get new information, not after. Your brain isn't rewarding you for finding something upsetting. It's rewarding you for the possibility that the next scroll might finally answer the question your ancient alarm system keeps asking. Is it safe now? Is it over? What happened next? The scroll never actually answers that question, because the question was built for a world with an edge to it. A village, a valley, a knowable horizon. Your feed has no edge. There is always a next thing, which means the ancient part of your brain that wants resolution never gets to feel resolved. So you keep going. Not because you're weak, and not because something is wrong with your willpower. You keep going because a system built to give you closure is being fed an infinite stream specifically engineered to never provide it. Here's the part that should genuinely change how you see your own late-night scrolling. It isn't a character flaw. It's an ancient survival circuit, doing exactly what it was built to do, plugged into a machine that has learned exactly how to keep that circuit firing. The humans around that ancient fire needed to know what was happening in their world, because that knowledge kept them alive. You inherited that same hunger. The only difference is that your world got infinitely larger, and your feed learned to exploit an appetite that used to serve you back when the news actually ran out. So tonight, when you catch yourself scrolling at midnight, unable to stop, unable to explain why, remember what you're actually feeling. It isn't weakness. It's an ancient, deeply human hunger for information, wired into you by ancestors who needed it to survive, now running headlong into a feed that was built to never let it rest. You are not addicted to your phone. You are still listening for danger at the fire.